Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, and welcome to Episode Rundown, where I, Shady Doorags, run down the episodes of Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. And today we're looking at episode whatever, I don't remember, it's been super long, Silencer. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these. You guys know the usual details. When things get hectic, the Miraculous episodes they get put on the back burner. But anyway, this episode's interesting. It's a Luca-focused episode, and I have to give the pre-warning here because I actually watched this episode 3 times before I'm recording this. Normally for those, because we got a lot of new people since I did the last episode rundown. Normally when I do these, I only try to watch the episode once because I want the thing that I remember most, the things that I remember most, to stay on the forefront of my mind as I'm talking about them. This time I watched the episode 3 times because I watched it back in like sometime between September and November, and but I didn't have time to record a video, so it just didn't come out. Then I watched it again sometime between December and January, and I did record a video, but I absolutely hated how the video came out. There's a lot of things that I felt just weren't working correctly in that video. And this will be the 3rd time, and hopefully there won't be a 4th time. This is also the first time I'm using my new camera, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's got a weird fisheye lens thing going on, and I don't know if it's the frame rate or whatever, but it looks like it's got a weird filter. I don't know. We'll see if it sticks around or not. But yeah, this is a new camera, and you can see there's a whole new setup we got going on. Anyway, let's start with the episode. So this is the episode Silencer. The episode starts with XY and the producer. I don't remember the producer's name, but it's Jagged Stone's producer going to lunch at the mayor's hotel. And the scene is kind of used to establish that the producer and the mayor are friends.
My good old friend Bob, how wonderful to see you!
Because the producer is a high-ranking person. So they show that the producer is XY's dad, as well as, like, they say he's making money off of him. So I would guess he's his producer. The problem with that is there was that whole episode with Jagged Stone where they were saying we have to beat XY because XY is the new #1 Jagged Stone and you're #2, so you have to get more ratings. If XY and Jagged Stone were working under the same producer, that episode should not have happened. And even if they weren't, like, why would the producer's dad be so concerned about XY being #1 when he's still profiting off of XY? Like, this episode clearly establishes that the producer is profiting off of XY. So this is a complete retcon. It doesn't make any sense for XY to be the producer's son. It doesn't make any sense for the producer to be making money off of XY. It makes absolutely no sense. Whose name is actually Xavier Eves? I like how he does that thing with his hand. He's like, XY? Like, I hate his voice, though. Like, I love his voice, but I hate his voice. It's so cliche. Speaking of cliche, this opening, oh my goodness, this is one of the parts of the show where I have to say I think that it can get away with it because it's for kids, but goodness gracious, I personally could not stand this part of the episode. XY and the producer talk about how XY needs new music, and they're just casually talking about how he steals all his songs, he steals all his stuff, and how he accidentally stole from himself, and they're gonna steal from somebody else.
I'll use the same plan that's made me the rich man I am today. If you're short on great ideas, borrow someone else's.
It's so over-the-top cartoonishly evil, and a lot of times I like over-the-top cartoonishly evil, like, you know, like the Skeletor type stuff. But this, like, the problem is I think sometimes this show wants me to take it seriously, and it throws in stuff like this. Like, there's comedic moments. I think it's the timing of it all. It's like, this feels so unbelievable with how cartoonishly, like, they're sitting in a restaurant loudly talking about it so everyone can hear it. I mean, the guy does this, but they're still loudly talking about it. And then at the end, they do a maniacal laugh. Like, I can't buy into this. It's so over the top. So anyway, they talk about how they're gonna steal somebody else's music. we cut to Marinette and Kitty section, and they're watching this video about how the producer is hosting a contest and how he's going to feature the winners. And they get excited because it's an opportunity for them. Okay, so we're going back to the whole Luca thing. I hope his name's Luca. I haven't said his name in so long. I hope I'm saying his name right. So with the whole Luca thing, as I said in previous episodes, I prefer Luca and Marinette to be shipped with each other. I know that's not going to happen because that's not where the show gets its like drive from. It drives from Marinette and Adrian being shipped. I prefer Luca and Marinette because I think Luca understands Marinette much better, and I don't see anything wrong with it because Marinette does like Luca. They have her so obsessed with Adrian. It's really annoying. But it's nice to see him again. But Kitty section begins working on a new look. Again, I don't know whose idea it was to make Rose the lead singer. Like, I don't know if any of those other voice actors can sing. It's just Rose's voice. Like, I love Rose's voice as her character. I love pretty much all the voice acting is like really, really good in Miraculous. I love Rose's voice when she's being Rose. I do not like her during any other time. I don't like it when she's singing. I don't like it when she was being a villain. It grades on me. But when she's just being the Rose character, like it's a perfectly fit voice. But anyway, Kitty section works on their outfits and their new music and whatnot. They've got a new style and they submit the video and whatnot. A little bit of a problem here. There's one member of Kitty section that they don't mention at all. Adrian is nowhere to be found here for some reason. I don't know why. He's a part of Kitty section. He plays the guitar, but they don't have him anywhere. And I thought, like, the first time I saw it, I was like, well, maybe it's because they did all this in one day, and, you know, Adrian's a busy guy. I'm like, well, wouldn't it have taken time to make those costumes, like design them and completely create them? They show a montage as if this is happening over a couple of days. And the contest, like, I imagine the contest wouldn't be, hey, you've got one day to do this. Like, a band has to put together a video and whatnot. So it would take a couple of weeks. Like, it shows a montage, but Adrian is nowhere in them. It kind of feels like they forgot that Adrian was a part of Kitty section. Or they intentionally left him out because this is supposed to be a Marinette Luca episode, which, again, I'm all for Marinette and Luca, but you can't just ignore continuity like that. So they submit the video, and Marinette gets worried because, you know, they haven't heard back from anything, and Luca's like, hey, come on, they got a bunch of different submissions. You got to give them time. Ivan notices that their look has been completely stolen by XY, and it's a very bad knockoff. You know, again, this is where I see the cartoony nature of it coming in. They want to show that this guy has is a bad knockoff, like he has no talent. So they make him make these really bad imitations of their stuff. Like his mask is made of paper mache, and he's wearing a box, and the song isn't very good. I'm like, but he has all this money backing him. Like, even if he didn't do it himself, he could get other people to put quality stuff together. Chloe did this in like episode 3 with Mr. Pigeon, where she stole Marinette's design. She had somebody else make it for her. But anyway, they see that he's stolen their style, and they're gonna go to the studio to confront him, which I just facepalm because I'm like, oh, this is such a again, it feels like they can get away with this because it's a kid's cartoon, but I'm just groaning at it because if somebody stole your stuff like that, you wouldn't march down to the stadium and whatnot. There are different ways you would go about it. But they marched down to the studio to confront him. The security guards, which I didn't know the studio had security guards. Like, they've been to the studio plenty of times, and I don't remember it having security guards, but maybe that's just me. The security guards don't let them in, and they do this thing which actually got me, where they're like, the show's already started, you don't have an invitation, blah, blah, blah. So they decide to be like, oh, help, we're being attacked by an Akuma. And I just facepalm because I'm like, that's clearly not going to work. You guys stop doing these cartoony antics. And they instead subvert expectations, and as the security guards are like, we're not going to fall for that, Luca and Marinette just sneak in behind them anyway. Those guards must have really horrible peripheral vision, but it was a gag that got me, so I will completely give it a pass. So Luca and Marinette go in to confront XY and the producer, and Marinette's just saying all these, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, for lack of a better term, I'm going to say goody two-shoes. She's saying all these goody two-shoes things like, hey, it's not too late to do the right thing. All we want is what you promised, just a feature spot on the show. And I'm just, again, I'm facepalming because I'm like, this isn't going to happen. Like, there are ways to go about this, but just saying, hey, do the right thing, like, that's clearly not going to happen. So there's actually one detail I really did like. Marinette rarely was ever upset that her style was stolen, and Luca was rarely ever upset that his music was stolen. They were both upset that each other's was stolen.
You copied Marinette's costumes!
And it's the exact same song! You stole Luca's music!
Which just puts fuel to the fire on the Luca Marinette ship. I keep calling him Luca. I hope that's his name, or it's going to be I'm going to sound really stupid. So the producer says, no. Marinette says, fine, if you won't tell the truth, I'll tell the truth. Producer says, well, it'll be your word against mine, and nobody's going to believe you. And he says it in a much harsher way.
If you do that, I'll tell them you're the copycats, not me. I've got all the music biz eating out of my hand. So who do you think they're gonna believe? Me or a group of nobodies?
He says it in a way that it gets Luca really, really angry. Like, this is, like, really justifiable anger coming off of Luca. And, of course, anger, Hawkmoth senses it. And again, Luca's not so much angry that his stuff is being stolen. He's mad that Marinette is being disrespected because he cares about Marinette. So Hawkmoth senses it, sends an Akuma, and there's a line I really absolutely love here.
Do we have an agreement, Silencer? I'll take your silence as a yes.
I love that line, absolutely. So he becomes a Silencer. The Silencer, for the most part, has a really cool design. He doesn't have the best power, but because of the way this show works, he uses it in a really, really good way, which we'll see later. There's one thing I do not like about him.
Don't worry, Marinette. I would never hurt you. I will use the power Hawkmoth has given me to restore justice.
Why the hands thing? Like, I kind of understand why. It's 3D animation, and you have to show which character is talking through some way, and because he's using other characters' voices, they want to display that he's the one talking. But they could have had his helmet like light up, or they could have just had his mouth moving, like, and we would have known. But they have his hands doing this, and it makes him look so dumb. Like, I want to take this villain seriously. He has a really he has really good plans throughout the episode, but every time I see him just doing this, I'm like, oh my goodness, can you not do that? Can you please, like, how am I supposed to, how is this threatening? So anyway, Silencer comes and he immediately takes XY's voice, which of course means XY can't perform because he uses his voice as the XY's voice is how he makes his money. So everybody freaks out because it's an Akuma, and Akumas are scary, and everybody runs away, and Marinette says, no, Luca, don't do this, this isn't the way, you'll have to fight Ladybug and Cat Noir, and Silencer says, Ladybug and Cat Noir, where were they when we needed help? Kind of hinting that, like, Marinette, like, looks down guiltily, like, kind of hinting that she kind of feels like she should have done something, or she doesn't have an answer for that. It was kind of weird because it doesn't come back into play too much. Luca then says this really nicely worded confession of love. And you can see the blush on Marinette's face, like, increase. Like, I like that little detail. And again, facial expressions. Marinette has my favorite facial expressions where you can just see, like, she's uncertain on how to feel about something. She goes to transform to Ladybug, but before she does, she has a conversation with Tiki. Tiki says, sounds like a confession of love. And Tiki says, well, maybe Luca feels the same way, and Marinette gets excited because Marinette likes this guy. Just like let them be together. Show they both like each other. Jeez. So anyway, she transforms into Ladybug. Adrian finds out, transforms into Cat Noir. Oh, before all that happens, though, I'm completely skipping parts. Ladybug goes to fight Silencer on the roof, and the producer, oh my goodness. So the producer does what Chloe normally does. And when the superheroes are fighting, he's like, come on, do your job. You're superheroes. You're so bad at this. You know,
What are you waiting for? Get to work!
Chloe does that too. Even though Chloe's a super fan of Ladybug, she'll often say, come on, Ladybug, Cat Noir, do your job. For some reason on Chloe, I find it cute. I don't find it cute on this guy. In fact, the worst thing that anybody has done in this show, like the most scumbaggy thing, was when the mayor sold out Ladybug and Cat Noir in Reflecta because he wanted to be transformed back. I find that to be like the most scummy thing I've seen so far in the show. This guy might have topped that because he picks up Ladybug. Like Ladybug's in the middle of fighting. He picks her up to try to push her back into the fight. Or maybe he was just protecting himself. But basically, he's got her arms, so she can't defend herself. And that allows Silencer to get Ladybug's voice. And as he does, the producer bails and says, sorry, Ladybug. Like, if it's not more scummier than what the mayor did, it's easily second place. Because, like, again, he's so cartoonishly evil. There's, like, just no reason for somebody to be acting like this. This is the person who is helping you, and you screw her over like that. So now Ladybug doesn't have her voice, and at first I'm like, okay, how is that a big deal? And then she tries to do the Lucky Charm, and it doesn't work, and it dawns on me, oh my goodness, the Miraculous heroes need their voices to do anything. Like, that never really hit me. If Luca had silenced Marinette, she wouldn't have been able to transform into Ladybug in the first place. It's kind of like what are they called? Sorcerers or wizards in D&D, where if you cast a silence spell, well, they can't use their voice, so they can't cast the spells. And it really took me by surprise. Ladybug manages to lose Silencer in a really, really clever way. She manages to lose him, and then she starts following him. This is when Cat Noir shows up, and she has to communicate to him via text. They do this thing where she sometimes starts doing charades, but you have devices that communicate via text. Just use the devices. It didn't make any sense that she kept going back to charades. And they come up with a plan that they will make Silencer say Lucky Charm with Ladybug's voice while she does the movements so they can get a Lucky Charm. Meanwhile, Silencer is trying to get the producer, and what he does is he goes to the mayor's office, steals his voice, and the producer calls the mayor on the phone because the producer said earlier he knows the mayor, he can get stuff done, and they even showed him talking to the mayor. So I thought that was very good use of Chekhov's gun, foreshadowing and whatnot. And I thought it was a very clever plan. Like I said, Silencer doesn't have the best power, but because of how this show works and how he uses it, like, it's very cleverly used. So Ladybug, oh, also another thing, Ladybug is stuck as Ladybug because she can't depower, and if she can't use her Lucky Charm, Tiki will never tire out. So she would be stuck as Ladybug forever. They also do this thing where Cat Noir, they only do it for like, I don't know, a minute or two. Cat Noir decides to be annoying, like just straight up annoying. He's like, I can joke as much as I want.
Meanwhile, I'll be able to babble to my heart's content. Maybe I could imitate your voice. Lucky Charm, Lucky Charm, Lucky Charm, Lucky Charm!
And I'm like, where is this coming from? Who thinks that Cat Noir is just a jokester? Because they did this in the other Reflect Doll too, where they're just like, oh, he just makes jokes all the time, and he's like, he does make jokes. He does, but he helps. That's his point. He doesn't make jokes for the sake of making jokes. He makes jokes because it's a way to not be Adrian. And it helps. It helps him personally, but he helps out a lot. Like, he just does this thing where it's like, maybe I should be you, Ladybug. Lucky Charm, Lucky Charm, Lucky Charm. I'm like, who is this? Why? They only do it for like a minute or two, but still, it was so annoying. It's like somebody, some new writer or something, clearly thinks that Cat Noir is just a jokester, and they kind of want to stick it to him. The episode continues, and like I said, they plan on getting Silencer to say Lucky Charm. Before they do that, though, Cat Noir says, hey, maybe we should wait for the producer to confess. Because, I have to go back a little bit. Silencer captures the producer because the producer tells the mayor where he's at. And Silencer has him arrested, and he says, I could steal your voice, but I want you to confess. And if you don't, what I'll do is I'll ruin your life because I've stolen the voices of every important people around you, and I can ruin your life that way. Again, a very clever way of using his powers, and that is very threatening. Like, he's just shown that with the voice of the mayor, he can get him arrested. And he's using all the voices he's captured so far, like XY, who says, I'll never sing for you, Dad. The police says, I'll have you thrown in jail and stuff like that. Very clever. So he's going to force him to confess. Cat Noir, when Ladybug and Cat Noir go to rescue the producer, Cat Noir says maybe we should wait a couple of seconds, or a couple of minutes. The guy can confess, and then we can do this plan. Ladybug, this part annoyed me so much. Ladybug says it wouldn't be revenge. It wouldn't be justice. It would be revenge, which is technically true. I understand what they were trying to say with that. But it's the next part, she says. And forcing someone to... I can't remember how they word it. I'll just play the clip.
It would be revenge, not justice, and being coerced into telling the truth is meaningless. You're right, milady.
That annoyed me so much. And here's why. When you coerce people to tell the truth, yes, it is. That's a good thing. What do you think interrogations do? Like, I think I understand what they're trying to say. And I think something was lost in translation. In that, because in this situation, because this guy is being threatened to say the truth, they don't know it's actually true or not. He could just later come back and say, I was threatened to say all those things. So nobody would actually know if it was the truth. But saying that you shouldn't coerce people into telling the truth, like, nah, they're, especially as like superheroes, that's what you do. But anyway, like that really annoyed me because it felt like somebody could easily take that lesson the wrong way. Anyway, they burst in there, they start fighting, blah, blah, blah. Ladybug gets the producer out of there. She makes a fake Lucky Charm using the makeup room, and then she leaves the producer. Cat Noir does this thing where he says, oh no, I can't find Ladybug, and Silencer uses Ladybug's voice to say, I'm over here, which was Ladybug's plan. If Cat Noir specifically calls out for Ladybug, Silencer will specifically be using Ladybug's plan, which I thought was really, really clever. They both show up, and the guy and Silencer sees that Ladybug has a fake Lucky Charm, and he says, how did you get your Lucky Charm? And that's when she does it and gets an actual Lucky Charm, which I don't think they needed. I don't think they needed the Lucky Charm. It's a vacuum, right? And again, they do this thing. They do this thing where it gives her a vacuum cleaner, and then she needs to add something to it, which is Cat Noir's belt, so it becomes a strap. Why didn't they just give her a vacuum cleaner with a strap on the vacuum cleaner? Like a second strap. I think it had one strap, but they could have just given her a vacuum cleaner with two straps. Why didn't it just give her that? The Lucky Charms, okay, so I'm getting annoyed because I did that video on the Lucky Charm like some months ago. The Lucky Charms rules seem to be somewhat inconsistent, and it's just so weird how they work. It can give her literally anything, but it gives her a random item. And it's supposed to give her an item that she uses to win the fight. It's not, well, to help her in whatever situation that she's currently going through. That's what it's supposed to do. If it gave her, say, something random. If it gave her a computer mouse, she probably wouldn't be able to do it. It's specifically supposed to give her an item she can use. and she has to figure out how to use it. Now that's fine and dandy, but why wouldn't it just give her it? Like, why does it give her an item she needs to transform? Like, they do that so many times where it's like, hey, here's a sailboat, but you only need the sail part. Hey, here's a giant gun, but you only need the laser pointer. Then why didn't you just give her the laser pointer? Like, I'm starting to actually get ticked off at the Lucky Charm, mainly because of what happened with Cat Noir, where they just completely broke a bunch of consistency rules that they were doing. But anyway, they get into a fight. Cat Noir does his cataclysm right before his voice gets taken. And the guy, they manage to destroy the helmet, which releases the voices. And this is where Ladybug uses the vacuum to suck them up. This is what I'm saying. I don't understand why they needed the vacuum. She literally could have just grabbed her voice at that moment and just done that. They didn't really need the vacuum cleaner for this. So she gets her voice back, everything goes back to normal, and they do. Oh, hold on, I'm about to skip parts. And then the producer guy comes in because Ladybug tied him up, and then he says, "You tied me up to a chair, Ladybug." And she says, "That doesn't sound like something I would do," which is not technically a lie, but anyway, I've already gone over Ladybug and lies and whatnot. And then the guy, he's like, haha, the superheroes got you, haha. You thought I'd actually tell the truth and tell everybody that, hey, I steal all my music and my son is talentless. And if you've seen any cartoon anywhere in the universe, you know where this is going. The camera's on. He's saying this in front of everyone in the world. I've seen it before. I try not to complain too much about certain cliches, but like, it's so obvious and I don't see anything unique being done with it. So yeah, I'm going to complain about this one. It was obvious and nothing unique was done with it. And that's when Ladybug and Cat Noir do the pound it, but they don't actually say it. I like that they don't say it all the time. They don't have to say it all the time. Like, when something is established in the show, it does kind of give a better feeling when it's kind of like done in a background kind of way. So anyway, they're done with that. Kitty section does get to perform, and they actually get a record deal. And like I said, I like when I see kids advancing their futures. Again, I don't know why Adrian is left out, but I guess, I don't know, he got kicked out of Kitty section or something. So before Kitty section goes on to perform, Marinette goes to Luca, asks, hey, did you meet all that stuff you said when you were in Akuma? And he doesn't remember because nobody remembers when they're in Akuma. And she's like, oh, you were akumatized, don't worry about it. And of course, because he was Akuma, he thought maybe he said something mean. And he said, I hope I didn't say anything to hurt you, Marinette. And then he once again, in the exact same fashion, confesses his love to Marinette. And that's pretty much where the episode ends. So I got mixed feelings about this episode because there were individual moments that just really I wasn't feeling. But almost everything around Luca and Marinette I was loving. Again, I think they're a much better ship. And even though Luca is not a very interesting character by himself, like I've said before, he's more interesting than Adrian. He's actually not, because Adrian has become more interesting as the show has gone on. Luca's actually less interesting, but he's a better fit for Marinette. So I like seeing him with Marinette. I like seeing them interact and fall in love with each other and whatnot. So all of that I like. I have to say, overall, I pretty much liked the episode. It was fun to watch. The superhero stuff was pretty good as well. I don't like the hand thing, and I think there's a missed opportunity here for them to have Cat Noir be the hero of the episode, because they constantly have Ladybug be the hero of the episode. Ladybug finally gets her voice taken away. But they don't want to make her useless. Like, you could have had Cat Noir doing more of the heavy lifting in this episode because Ladybug doesn't have her voice. But they didn't go that route. They still wanted her to be ingenuitive, and it really just seems out of place to me that they make Cat Noir just not think at all when he's in superhero mode. Like, Adrian is canonically smarter than Marinette, but I guess knowledge doesn't necessarily equate to intelligence, which Marinette is the creative one. She's more artistic, so yeah, who knows? We'll see in the future. Before I sign off, I want to kind of discuss a little bit of something. It does have to do with Miraculous, but also has to do with kind of stuff going on the Shady Doorags channel as a whole. but I do think it belongs here in this Miraculous video. So, as you guys know, I sometimes take breaks from Miraculous because it's very toxic for the channel. Like, it not only doesn't get views, but a lot of people actively unsubscribe when they see I've put up a Miraculous video. Miraculous has been like the longest. Miraculous has been the longest running series on this channel. I started it back in 2017, and I've been doing it since, and I love doing it. Yeah, I just love doing it, so that's why I've kept going, even though it has been toxic to the channel. So I was actually given the advice lately, like when my channel started blowing up at the end of last year, I was given the advice like, hey, I should probably put Miraculous on the shelf for like a year. Not stop doing it, but like just put it on the shelf until my channel really gets flowing. And that was part of the reason why there hasn't been a Miraculous video. Like I said, there was like a bunch of things that came up that prevented me from doing that. But it was also like I wasn't really trying to get one out because I did kind of want to see what happened if I shelved Miraculous for a bit. And maybe, I think maybe that did help the numbers go up a lot. But at the same time, I kind of need a series like Miraculous in my life. I'm saying this more for future me than I am for my audience, but I'm still going to keep it up on the channel. It just helps me. I kind of need a series like the episode rundowns. Not like Miraculous specifically, but like the episode rundowns, I kind of need a series like that on the channel. Because with the other types of videos I do, I love doing them as well. But they make me what I call spiritually tired. I'm not physically tired and I'm not mentally tired. But after I do one of those videos, it's hard to jump into another video. And I kind of need a buffer in between, to something in between to like kind of get the creative juices flowing again. Because if I just constantly work on videos, I hit walls so easy. With Miraculous, I still get to make stuff, you know, so I'm not constantly worried in the back of my mind, I need to release something, I need to release something. But I'm not stressed out about scripts or editing or all that. It's just a series where I just talk and I just get to have fun with what I think about a show. And I know a lot of people don't come for that. In fact, a lot of people actively unsubscribe when they see that. But it helps me work on the other videos when I work on videos like this. And I know a lot of you watching this, you're saying, go ahead, make more Miraculous because you guys are the ones who like these videos. But the majority of the channel, from what I've seen, doesn't. Who knows? Maybe this will be the big Miraculous video that everybody flocks to. But the majority of people on my channel, they don't really come for these videos. But I'm saying this to myself right now. Shady Doorags, you need a series like Episode Rundown to keep your mind fresh. And that's something I've realized going these, like, what's it been, like 6 months without doing a Miraculous video. Like, I have so many video ideas, but I hit walls because I'm trying to constantly work on them. And when I hit walls and I try to force out videos, I've done it in the past, they don't come out well. So yeah, I'm going to try to do Miraculous a bit more. I was actually scared to release this video because there hasn't been a video released in quite some time. But part of that is because I've hit a wall. But yeah, I'm going to try to do Miraculous more often, which you've heard me say before. Because Season 4 is coming out and everybody keeps spoiling it for me. And I got to get through Season 3. Like, I can get through these really fast. But yeah, I'm going to try to do these more often because they just help. They help with the creative process of my other videos. And I think that's overall a good thing. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. I wanted to put that out there. So future Shady Doorags doesn't keep getting in his mind, hey, maybe I should shelve Miraculous for a little bit. No. I need a series like Episode Rundown on the channel. Anyway, that's that. I will see you guys in the next episode, whichever episode that is. I don't know. I've had this episode stuck in my brain for like 3 months. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.